Good morning, buddy. Buddy. Yes, you. He's hanging out, or he was hanging out by the open door. And Eleanor's in her favorite spot by the window. Yes, buddy, I know I said the name Eleanor, so you have to yell. How's this for starting the day off right? Right? One cat there. And the other cat over here. It's a good day. Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great day. I just slept pretty much after I worked all day. The next day, the Black Friday, I didn't buy anything. I just stayed at home. I slept pretty much all day long. And then today, it's the last Saturday of the month, which is a very exciting day for me here. And that at my home group, this is the day we celebrate anybody who had an anniversary in December. That usually means just lots of cake, lots of treats, lots of laughs, a little bit of crying. It's so fantastic. And I'm looking forward to it because some of my favorite people have celebrated anniversaries recently. So let's get in there, and then we're going to go home and maybe have a little snuggle with the cats and maybe chat about my gratitude list. All right, I'll see you soon. What a great meeting. They forced me to take look at the size of this donut. They forced me to take a donut home. These evil people forced me to take a donut. What a fantastic meeting. Had a very, very nice time. Someone celebrated 40 years of sobriety today. 40 years. Now, it's always a treat to hear someone celebrate an anniversary. In particular, someone who's just celebrating their first or second year, because that's always so, so exciting. But when someone celebrates 40 years of sobriety and they share about the highs and lows and some of the challenges they face in life that are just gargantuan experiences, that they face these things with dignity and honor, thank you, and get through these situations stronger, kind of like Christina Aguilera in her song, Whatever Doesn't Kill You, Make You, whatever she sings. But to share it with also humor and some levity, it's really inspirational. And hopefully I can get there one day. I would love to celebrate 40 years. How old will I be when I celebrate 40 years? I would be 73. Oh, okay. So I think I'm going to head home, but there is a slight temptation of me hitting a Goodwill as well. I might hit a quick Goodwill real quick and then head home. So we'll see what happens. Buddy, I see you. I'm trying to entice Buddy to come over here so I can show you how cute he is. You know what he looks like, but I just wanted to torture him. Buddy. Maybe later. So, hey guys, how are ya? I'm sorry for this lighting. I pulled out my ring light. I hate using it because the light is just so bright and artificial. It's like, wow. And if I wear my eyeglasses, I look like something out of the Squid Games because I got those little white circles over my eyes. So we're going sans eyeglasses tonight. So it is the holiday season, and I usually put together a gratitude list, usually seasonally. But I also do a gratitude list whenever I'm having a terrifically difficult time, when I'm super stressed, when things are very, very dark, and I've put together a couple of gratitude lists. So that's why it was so easy lately. That's why it was fairly easy to put this together. It's not a very long list. This won't be a very long video, I promise. I mean, it might be, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So I wrote out a little gratitude list. This is not inclusive of everything I'm grateful for. There are things that I just can't even bring to mind. There's just so much. These are kind of the highlights of what I'm grateful for. There are two things that aren't on this list. I'm going to try and remember to include those. They're a little unusual, and they didn't cross my mind when I was writing this. But this is a very long list. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, so if you've been watching my channel at all, sobriety. I've been talking more about my sobriety over the past year than I have in my entire career on YouTube. And I'm sure a lot of you are like, Stephen, okay, we know you're sober. Okay, we get it. But it's a big part of my life. It's everything, really. And I put it first on my list because without my sobriety, nothing else matters. I have nothing if I don't remain sober. And I have decades of drinking and drugging to prove. My success rate was not high. So without sobriety, I just don't know. Well, I know where I'd be. I'd either be alive and suffering or very, very dead. So let's look at some of the reasons I am grateful I'm sober. I'd literally be dead or in custody. I know my family history, and I'd probably be in jail or in prison somewhere, or dead. If I were lucky, it would be dead. But I wouldn't be employable at all, especially as a flight attendant. I would not be employable. I wouldn't be able to pay my bills or my mortgage. I sure wouldn't have a license to drive because I would have a history of hit and runs because that's my kind of driving. I wouldn't be able to take care of my cats. My recovery meetings have introduced me to new amazing people and lessened my loneliness. There really isn't a way to express how I've understated that. The people I've met in this home group of mine have become part of my family inside my heart. You know, if you've been here for a long time, I frequently say I'm a loner. I'm kind of lonely. I'm used to that. I don't have any friends, and that's normal. That's fine for me. And that's kind of a lie these days because I've met an enormous group of unbelievably they're miracles. They're walking miracles. I'm thinking of Vivian and Karen and Pat and I mean just a whole bunch of people in my home group that I've come to love, and they make me feel less alone. So it's great. My meetings have kept me active in my own recovery, preventing me from slipping. I've been more mindful and practicing my program more often because I'm a part of a home group and we all talk about how we're doing and what we're doing and how our sobriety is progressing. Amazing sponsors. I've had 2 sponsors in my life, but amazing sponsors who have showed me by their own example how to be better men. My first sponsor, John, his shtick was like, if I came to him complaining about XYZ problem, he'd go, oh, okay, so who's that over there? Who's that newcomer? And you know he's new because he's reading our manual, our literature. I don't know. Go talk to him. I would learn how to get out of myself and help other people to make myself feel better. It's something, one of the first things I learned from my sponsor, my first sponsor. And my second sponsor taught me to be of service to others is a way to really, for me to practice my best skill sets and stay sober and help other people stay sober. But I also, in doing those things, came to realize I am much more capable as an adult than I ever imagined I would be. I couldn't balance a checkbook, but in service, I became secretary for Eastern Massachusetts in the service structure. There were 2,200 meetings in Eastern Massachusetts, and I was the secretary for the area. I mean, I never imagined I could step up and perform at that level. And I found it to be difficult at first, but I learned so much, and I discovered how capable I really am. And I don't know where I'd be in my life if I hadn't been pushed into this service to other people. So my sponsors have just been amazing. And they did what they told me to do. They were speaking with their own experience. So I'm so grateful to those 2 men. I was introduced to the language of the heart, allowing me to really connect and understand with people and myself more deeply. And it's this language, it's still English, but it's still a way of talking to each other in meetings that have allowed me to understand myself better and understand other people better and have more empathy and compassion. And just this is a sign in ASL for same. You know, we're the same, and that's actually the language of the heart. It kind of connects us in the same way. I'm not sure why that sign just popped in my head. I don't feel as lonely as I talked about earlier because I know I have people on whom I can depend and whom they can depend on me. when the need arises. I know that if I had to leave or if I wanted to go on vacation now, I know that my friend Vivian would be able to come over here and help with the cats and make sure that they were taken care of while I was away. Like, in the worst of circumstances, I now have people in my life that I know and trust in any situation. And that's all due to my sobriety and participation in my home group. Doesn't that sound amazing? I know, and that's just one small part of my life. So those are some of the things I wrote down for reasons I'm grateful for my sobriety. Everything good in my life stems from my sobriety. Every fear, every doubt I have is due to my alcoholism. And with the work of my sobriety, I can whittle those things down and kind of walk past them. It's nice. I'm sorry. I just wanted to cry because I saw Buddy, Eleanor, and Claire, and I'm going to try and talk without crying because these cats, as you know, they mean everything to me. They bring me such joy. They've broadened my understanding. Can you see I wrote all this down? Thank God I wrote all this down. Otherwise, I don't know how I'd share this. They have broadened my understanding of compassion and empathy. My desire to keep them happy and healthy led to my buying my own home. So the benefits of having Buddy and Eleanor. I think the beginning of this video, I was lying in bed. I had Buddy lying on one side, Eleanor lying on the other, and I was in a state of bliss. I was in a state of bliss. It was difficult to get out of bed to go to my meeting today, but I had to. These cats are everything to me. Before rediscovering humanity and my home group and like being a part of like civilized human beings, and my cats were really everything to me, and they took on the mantle of being my family in a way. Emotionally, they fed my needs, and I just love them. Are you coming over here? Are you gonna come? No, you're gonna eat. Okay. That's Buddy. So my cats are just everything to me. There's no way to tell you. I can't express how important they are to me. Just for the example, I was living in a one-room studio with a good-sized closet, but a one-room studio for a couple years, and I had 3 cats, Buddy, Claire, and Eleanor, and it was just too much. And after the pandemic, the lockdown, I just couldn't do it, and I could see how unhappy Buddy was. Eleanor and Claire were just fine. They were just fine in that house. All they did was eat, sleep, nap, walk around, lick each other a little bit, and they were happy as pigs. Buddy is anxious. Buddy needs space. He needs to jump. He needs to run around. He needs to be able to change his scenery whenever he wants to. That's why he loved being outside. And he was just suffering in that apartment. If you ever watch a video of back then in the old days, you'll see Buddy would jump up onto the cat trees that I always have in the front window, and then he'd meow, and then he'd jump down, go over here, then he'd come back and he'd jump up, and he would go back and forth, back and forth. He was going crazy. He was going crazy. So in my search for a one-bedroom apartment, I discovered that it was so expensive to get a one-bedroom apartment. And then I happened to watch a YouTube video with Amber Coleman, my mortgage loan officer, amazing, and my real estate agency. And they just dropped the idea of home ownership into my head. And if you remember those videos, I ended up buying my condo all because Buddy needed more space. And I'm just so grateful for that cat. And it's all his fault. Like, he's just changed me as a person. And I include Claire because she's still part of my heart, and she's still part of my family. I dream of her, and sometimes I think I feel her walking next to me on my bed. She had a very particular cadence when she would walk on the sheets, and she would nestle herself up next to my face, and we would both sleep. I'd have my hand on her paw, and I would say, "Good night, Claire," every night. Sometimes I still say it to get myself to sleep. I miss her so much. Has it been 3 years? It's been 3 years, and I miss her every day. All right, I know I told you this is going to be a long video. So my work. I love my job. I love being a flight attendant. It is the best thing besides my cats and sobriety, that's ever happened to me. It really is. It's crazy. And I'm a very good flight attendant. Excuse me. And it's just giving me so much. So let's see. What did I write down? I meet interesting new people, coworkers, and passengers during every trip. If you ever ask me what's my favorite part of being a flight attendant, your first thought might be, traveling. I get to see places. I get to travel. That would be close to the top. But the tippity top of the reasons I'm so happy to be a flight attendant are the people I get to meet. I get to meet people who are celebrating. I get to meet people who are mourning, who are people who are going towards something exciting and brilliant, and then some people who are like trudging towards something they have to do, and it's such an honor, really, and a privilege to ferry these people where they're going. And if I ever get frustrated or irritated with someone, because sometimes passengers aren't at their best, so I just stop and think, well, why are they in this mood? Like, they're on an airplane for a reason. Maybe they just need someone to be nice to them. And I try to practice that, and I try to be nice to them. And you'd be surprised the interactions I've had with passengers who just didn't know how to smile or whatever. But I'm sure I've made my point there. I get to see new places, which is definitely a plus. Just the museums I simply get to go to, and then the different meetings I go to in different places. I can't believe I'm still crying. Let's see. Sleeping in beds without kitty litter or cat hair. I love my cats. I love everything about them, but the reality is sometimes they trap kitty litter into the bed or the sheets. There's cat hair everywhere. So it's nice to get a little break and get into a bed and go to sleep without a cat going meow, meow, meow. That would be Buddy there. Let's see. I now earn a livable wage that allows me to pay my bills and sometimes even save money. I get lots of time off for a very nice life-work balance. It really is the perfect job. Let's see. So, yeah, my job up there. My home. Once again, I kind of want to cry. The first 2.5 years, I wrote my mortgage and my HOA check out by hand, and I mailed it because it was almost a little ritual to celebrate that I bought my home. I got emotional probably the first year every time I unlocked the front door with my key. I mean, it was mine, Well, I still have a mortgage, but it's still mine, and it just makes me so happy. So it's a safe place filled with things I love and my twin hearts, Eleanor and Buddy. My mortgage is low and will be affordable even when I retire, if I can ever retire, because I didn't plan on living very long originally. So I know I have equity in the event that something awful happens. I feel more stable and safe. Sleeping in a minivan at a gym parking lot is stressful. So if you don't know my story, one day I'll do a video reintroducing myself because a lot of you are new to my channel. But before I got my job, I spent a few months living in a minivan in Tampa, and it's not as sexy as it sounds. I was sleeping in Planet Fitness parking lots, mostly because there was no security knocking on your window at all nights. Walmart, oh man, that security would just drive around. So I found Planet Fitness so I could sleep in the parking lot, wake up, shower, shave, go to the gym, work out. I was never in better shape than when I was living in a van. Having my home filled with creepy sculptures, copper sculptures from the 70s, all sorts of fantastic art, my plants, my cats, my piles of stuff. It just makes me feel safe and comfortable. And I come home, and I sigh. I sigh out of gratitude. If you remember before I left my old apartment on Dumont Boulevard, that one-room place, I hated it. It felt like a prison cell before I left. I absolutely hated it. Let's see. I have a 2-car garage. What a blessing a 2-car garage is. If you don't have a 2-car garage, where the hell do you put your Christmas tree? I mean, where do you have storage if you don't have a 2-car garage? My car. Surprisingly emotional when I say my car. Now, I lease my car. If tariffs affect the price of vehicles over the next few years. I'm probably going to end up buying my lease once it's up. But I would prefer going on to another lease, but who knows what's going to happen. But my car gives me a sense of freedom. It had been many years, 20 years. Well, besides the minivan. Before the minivan, it was like 20 years since I had driven a car. I don't think I'd driven a car the entire time I lived in Boston. I mean, 25 years. So having a car has really given me a sense of freedom to be able to pick up and drive off to Valley of Fire or Walmart or wherever I wanted to go. Back in the day when I lived on Dumont Boulevard, before having my car, it would take me 3 hours to get to Walmart to buy kitty litter and whatever else I could carry with my 2 hands and get back to the house. And sometimes the temperature is 118 degrees. I'm trudging around on the bus trying to buy kitty litter at Walmart, you know. So having a car is just really just opened up wide vistas for me, from the desert landscape to Walmart. It saves me so much time. Oh my God, the time having a car has saved me. All right, so this is I'm not sure how this is gonna sound to many of you. Being gay. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm gay. I know that might sound strange, and some of you are probably laughing. But you know, if there was a pill I could take, and I took a lot of pills in my day. If there was a pill I could take that would make me a heterosexual, I would not take it. So I think that might have been different when I was in my early 20s, when I was desperate to fit in, because being gay, especially in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't a real safe thing. It wasn't like, people go, oh, gee, it's a choice. It's not a choice. I would not have chosen to be gay when I was a young man because it was very dangerous. I was assaulted. I was beaten. I was ridiculed by everyone. From a very early age, preteen, up until my 20s, I was ridiculed all the time. It's a very scary thing when you don't fit in. And with this voice of mine, you know, I don't fit in. But as a middle-aged man, thank goodness I'm gay. Let's look at some of the reasons. I have quite a few. So, I know my sense of humor and outlook on the world and how I move through the world has been shaped by being gay. And it's hard to understand why that feels so important to me. I don't know how. Let's see if I've included some of the things here that might help me understand why I said that. Let's see. When you're forced to linger on the fringes of acceptable society, you have a different view of the world, its people, and the dynamics that shape the environment and the culture. Listen to that again. Go back a few seconds and listen to it again. I like that. I wrote it, but I like that. I am different from the next man, the common man, and therefore a little special and out of the ordinary. As a gay man, as an openly quite happy to be me gay man, I am different than most of the people milling down the streets or on the plane or on the bus or on the highway. I'm a little more unique. And I think my humor and my outlook have been formed by that. And I'm happy about it. I really am. I treasure who I am today, and I think a lot of it is based on who I am as a gay man. And it has nothing to do with sexuality, because being gay doesn't really have anything, to me, doesn't really have anything to do with your sexuality so much. One video I have, and I'm not sure why this is coming to my brain. Oh, I know why it's coming to my brain. One of my videos, I think I probably still have on my channel, is a little bit about how my favorite ex-boyfriend is transsexual. He was a female to male transsexual. And my ex-boyfriend, Andy, he was a man in every way except for that one sometimes little thing, sometimes big thing. He was a man in more ways than that. He is probably one of the best men I've ever met in my life. And he wasn't born a man, but his experience and who he is has all been formed and has what is the word I want to use? Cast him like a bronze sculpture is cast into the form of the man he is today. And he's a beautiful person. He's a handsome man. He's more hairy than I am. And I'm hairy. I hope that made some sense to you. He's near to my heart. I don't know if he knows how dear he is to me, but I see him on Facebook. Let's see. I'm a different... Early survival skills became tools that shaped me into the person today, much like the chisels are used to carve marble into a figure. If you've ever seen a movie called My Fair Lady, if you haven't, you need to see it. You don't have a gay card if you haven't seen My Fair Lady. Eliza Doolittle, I think she sells matches, and this professor makes a bet with another guy saying, I can turn her into what someone would believe is a duchess. I would craft her using social skills and things to, form her into what seems like royalty. And that's what I feel like. If I knew who I was back then, but if you were to see me back in my teenage years, you'd never imagine I would become the person you're watching today. I was so full of fear, so full of doubt. I was chubby. I had long, beautiful hair, but I was a caterpillar compared to who I am today. And being gay is a big part of how I was able to forge my own character and become who I am today. I know I'm spending a lot of time in this. For those of you who do not approve of my lifestyle, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Let's see. My humor has definitely been shaped by my sexuality, as my quickness of thought. Those are some of the survival skills that later became tools and formed and polished me into who I am today. Quickness of thought, because I'm a pretty quick thinker. I can turn on a dime. And part of that is, as you're a gay man and you're growing up, you learn very quickly to read the room, very quickly. Suss out where the safe places are, where the exits are, where your threats are. You have to really become quite adept at reading the entire environment like this to be able to take the next step. And I really think that forms you into someone who is very quick thinking and observant. I am very, very observant. If you've ever taken a museum tour with me, a lot of this is based on the early survival skills of being a young gay man. I know it's crazy, but I can read a room easily, quickly, and react to what I'm seeing or hearing. And ta-da! So you wouldn't think that my humor and my quick thoughts would all be based on my survival skills as a young gay man, but that's what it is. Ta-da! YouTube. I'm so grateful for YouTube. First, what a resource. You can learn everything from Maria Callas, opera singer, to tree frogs. You can learn about anything on YouTube. I love it. It's amazing. The only problem with YouTube is the more you watch one thing, it just keeps giving more of that stuff. So I don't know, the algorithm could change there, but let's see. My channel, it's hard to say, and I'm so glad I wrote these things down, because I couldn't say these things to you without having taken a moment to write them down. So I apologize for reading here. But my channel, it's hard to say, has connected me to the world during my loneliness. During my loneliest moments, you guys were there, celebrating or commiserating and even mourning along with me. You guys have been with me along every step. I've invited you along with me, but you've been there with me. A lot of you have been with me from day one, and I've seen the changes in me, and so have you. But you've been with me the entire time, and it blows my mind. I look back to when it was probably when I first got Buddy, and he got sick that January, and his vet bills were like $600, and I couldn't afford that. You guys paid it for me. When Eleanor got sick, you guys paid those bills for me. And you've just been such a supportive group. When I bought my home, you guys were over the moon for me when the people in my real life hardly even noticed. Oh, good for you. And you guys, you knew me. You know what I went through, and you were there for me, and you celebrated. When I lost my mother, when she died, that very complex feeling for me, because I hated her, but it was also sad that she died. You were there for me. Through everything, you guys have been here with me, and it means a lot to me. And I thank you. This channel has been a mirror and a journal, allowing me to see who I was, who I am, and how I got here. I'm so grateful for this channel, and for you for watching. I still don't know why you watch. When someone says, "Oh, what's your channel about?" I'm like, well, cats, thrifting, random thoughts, flight attendant stuff. Yeah. It doesn't sound very exciting to me. I've been able to walk safely and candidly. I'm sorry, let me go back. I've been able to talk safely and candidly about some of the most difficult parts of my story. Think about dentures, alcoholism, just very difficult topics. My brother. I've been able to talk candidly about the most difficult parts of my story to discover that my sharing has sometimes inspired others to take action. I'm thinking of you, Diane, right now. I hope you're doing well. Some of you have found new ways to grow, or even some of you have become flight attendants. And somehow I've been part of that journey. And I think that's just really fantastic, and I'm very grateful for that. I didn't mean to cry this much, but if you know me, I love to cry. Let's see. That's been immensely rewarding. I've felt so cared for. You folks have been there when I needed you the most. I've honestly felt love through my comments section. Where else would I ever find this but my YouTube channel? The money I earn through YouTube, I usually average about $350 a month, $400 a month. Not a lot of money, but it's enough to pay my car bill, you know. It's been super handy, from being fun money to paying some bills. So YouTube, I'm very, very grateful for YouTube. I never imagined I'd have a channel on YouTube. Oh my God. All right, so before I go into this next couple things, there's some things that popped into my head that I did not write down. I'm grateful for having, this is going to sound crazy, much of my things do, but you all know, if you didn't see it, I was stabbed. I was stabbed in the chest back in 2007. It was a carving knife, like an 8-inch chef's knife, like in Psycho. Right here, right there. And I almost died twice that night, and it was horrible. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. I do have a video about it. I think it's called, So This One Time I Almost Died. The lessons I've learned in recovering from that injury are so valuable. I'd rather not have been stabbed. I would rather not have ever learned that. But there were some lessons I learned in recovering from that are invaluable to me. The most important one, and the key one that I try to keep at the surface of my mind, is when I need help, I have to accept the help I'm offered. When I'm desperate for help, oh, please help me, please help me. No, 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 that's not what I want. I want this. You know, have you done that? I have. To learn how to accept the help I'm offered was a huge, huge lesson to me. And it's come to pass in my life where I've actually used that lesson again. I'm just very grateful for my life in general. And something that's going to sound a little weirder is I'm grateful that it happened. I'm grateful to remember what it was like as I was slipping towards what I think was death. I remember slipping towards a darkness, and I know that there was a moment I could have gone and just gone. I knew there was a moment when I could have just exhaled and been done. Exit, left, you know, and I wasn't afraid of it. So I'm not afraid of it now. If my life were to end tomorrow, and I knew that my cats could be taken care of, if my life were to end tomorrow, I'd be okay. I'd be okay. I don't have the fear of dying, which is a huge gift. Most people are terrified of the idea of not being. They couldn't even grasp what it's like to go. You know, I know that I can. I almost did. So I'm not afraid, and that's priceless. There's no way to value that peace. Some people are like, I'm okay passing because I have God or heaven. I don't need any of that. I have no expectations. I have had a very, very complex, full life, full of beautiful things. So if I go, I go. And that's a gift I received from having been stabbed in the chest. And I know this gets so crazy. The other thing that's not on my list is my marriage. I got married in 2009, August 22nd. I think it was August 22nd or August 21st. I'll have to look. And I got married. I was married for 1 year, 4 days, and probably 10 hours before it fell apart. I asked him the question you never want to ask someone who's my ex-husband, if he still loved me, if he even loved me at all. And he said, I don't know. Okay. So it took us a year to get divorced because I'm not built to suffer. I'm not built to suffer. And that's something I learned from my marriage. I am not built to suffer. If you don't love me, I'm out of here. Peace. I'm not going to suffer. I'm not going to struggle. And I left. And it took us a year to get divorced. But beyond that, I'm not built to suffer. I also learned that I am capable. And this was a hard thing. This is a big thing for me. I have never been sure that I was capable of loving another person. My life didn't aim me in that direction. I wasn't confident that I knew how to love someone. It was scary to think that I was incapable of loving someone. Does anyone remember Kathy, the cartoon strip? Kathy, she's always buying the wrong bathing suit and dating the wrong. And she got married to her cartoon boyfriend. And I always think, well, cartoon Kathy can get married, but I'm going to die alone. You know, to literally come to realize that I am completely capable of loving someone. And I did love him until that all fell apart. But also the hardest part is, am I capable of being loved? That's a scary thing, to be loved. And I was afraid that I was incapable of being able to love or to be loved, and to get to a point where I would say I do in front of God and man, that yes, I do, was a beautiful thing. It was a life-changing moment for me getting married on that beach in Provincetown. I'm glad it's over because he was really the wrong man. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot. All right, let's go back on with my list. Oh gosh, it's 35 minutes of me talking. God bless you. My friend Marcus. I love my friend Mark. I love Marcus. He is a bright point in my life. No matter whatever happens, I know that I'll never be without a friend. No matter what happens, Marcus will be there for me. He always has been. He always will be. He's been there through thick and thin without judgment. He's seen me. He has been the one constant in my life since we met in 1992, and I will always be grateful for him. And my friend Melanie also popped up in my head. Melanie, I don't talk about Melanie very often. She lives in Texas with her boyfriend. She's the most unbelievable artist you've ever met in your life. She is unbelievable. If you go onto the internet after this video, do a little search for dirigible designs. Dirigible, like a blimp. Dirigible designs jewelry. She and her boyfriend Blake make jewelry. She's also an artist, like a sculptor on her own, and she's a visual artist as well. But Melanie is, I just feel cooler by association. just knowing that she's my friend. And if I'm capable and if I'm worthy of a friend like Melanie, I must be a little cool, just a little tiny bit, because she wouldn't put up with me if I weren't, you know. She's just a miraculous person. Are you going to come over and say hi? Wait, come on. Wait. Eleanor. I love her. So Melanie is up there. Thrifting. I love thrifting. It's definitely on my gratitude list. I've been able to collect amazing things, build an amazing wardrobe, and occasionally sell a few things. I sold a little beaver figurine. I have to remember to pack that. I find it almost meditative and certainly satisfying. I love thrifting. It brings me joy. Museums and art. That's not a surprise to you guys. Regularly visiting different kinds of museums allows me to see the world through another person's experience, through someone else's soul. And sometimes it allows me to view my own experience through another person's lens. Art can be an amazing mirror. And I find myself, or I see myself, I see how I see the world. I get a better view of my own perception and my skill, again, at reading the room. And I'm just so grateful for for art, particularly contemporary art. I never thought I would enjoy or understand contemporary art, but I've really gotten a grasp on it lately. It's a slippery grasp, but I have come to really, really enjoy contemporary art. I used to think, oh, that's just like a splotch of paint on a canvas. How is that anything? And these days I'm able to kind of look inward and see something and understand it more. It's a very exciting journey. Let's see. There are times that a piece of art will open a door to a memory, but I see that memory at a different angle or at a distance that allows me to see more clearly or with a different focus. Most recently at one of my museum visits to San Antonio, there was an exhibit of artwork that included some pieces of mirror where the artist had kind of scratched away the surface, the silvering of the mirror, and she put an image of her sister who died early in that little splotch. So when you look at the mirror from the front, you saw this mirror, you saw yourself in the mirror, but you also saw this image of a person that she loved and misses in the mirror. And if you remember that video, sorry, there's an ambulance or something like that. If you remember that video, I told you a story about my brother. It's more about me than my brother, but I was in my apartment in the South End. It was a fabulous apartment. It had no furniture because I couldn't afford any, but I was dancing around drunk out of my mind to a Britney Spears song. I can't remember the song. And I was dancing around, practically hallucinating because I was so drunk. And I looked in the mirror and there was a school picture of my brother who died when he was 5. And I saw me in the mirror. I saw my face, including my upper lip, which looks like this. And it was his upper lip. And the two of us looked very different. His 5-year-old school picture next to my 40-something, 30. I was probably 32, 33. What I looked like were very different. But I saw my upper lip and that it was his and that there was a connection. And I wondered one set of millions of times what he would have looked like as he got older, and we would have looked very much alike. The men in my family, we all have a certain look, and this is it. But who would he have been? And the weight of all of this loss and this loneliness, because I was so alone after he died. I had no one. My mother was incapable of being a human being after he died, especially. So everything went away when he died, and just seeing the similarities in our lip form just had such a huge weight on me. And that piece of art that I saw with that mirror and that artist's sister behind it just brought all of those feelings flooding back to me. It was very, very emotional. And art can do that. when nothing else can. And I'm just so grateful for art and museums. And there's probably 1,000 things I could include in this gratitude list that I did not list right now, but that's the end of what I wrote for this list. If you've watched this to this point in this video, thank you so much. Thank you for being one of those people who I have leaned on for the past 7 years during this 7 years has been like a crucible. I have changed so much. My life has changed so much, and you've been with me the whole time. I'm so grateful. I think I've taken enough of your time. It is 7:30, and I'm going to give the cat some treats. I'm going to put some lunch on the stove, dinner on the stove, and get into bed sometime soon to do a little dead scrolling on my cell phone and get a good night's sleep so I can go to my home group tomorrow. Are you going to come into the video too, buddy? No? Okay. So thank you for being with me, and thank you for your listening to my long list, and I'll talk to you soon. All right. Fly safe. Bye. I love you. Good night.